After more than 3 decades serving the community, Orion Township Fire Chief Bob Smith enjoyed his final day on the job.
Kids were invited to explore trucks of all shapes and sizes during the 14th annual Big Rig Gig at Friendship Park.
Almost 200 classic and muscle cars line the streets of downtown Lake Orion to raise money for a great cause.
22 of the 23 OAA teams were here at the Rochester High Administration Building for today's OAA Media Day. I caught up with some of the coaches surrounding the league and also the teams Lake Orion will meet this season.
Hello, I'm Melissa Kratt.
And I'm Shannon Line. We'll have those stories and more on this edition of ONTV News.
The Orion community has grown tremendously over the past several decades, and the Orion Township Fire Department has done all it can to meet the challenges they face. Now, the department is facing a new challenge, replacing the man who has served the fire department for over 3 decades. On Wednesday, August 2nd, friends, family, and first responders gathered at Bad Brad's Barbecue on Baldwin Road to say goodbye to Fire Chief Bob Smith. A Plymouth area native, Smith moved to Lake Orion in 1980 and began his career with the fire department as a paid on-call firefighter in 1986. He went full-time in 1990 and replaced retiring Fire Chief Jeff Key in 2012.
When I started here, we had 2 stations. We were building a 3rd one. We had probably 55, 60 people on the fire department. They were all paid on call, except for the fire chief, and we were running about 700 calls a year. Now we've got 4 stations, we've got a crew of 22 full-time people plus the paid on call. We're averaging about 8 calls a day, or about 2,600 calls a year, so that's how much it's evolved.
After 31 years on the job, the fire chief announced his retirement. He enjoyed his final day on the job on Wednesday.
They picked me up at 3 o'clock and they took me around in the ladder truck, the new ladder truck that I'm very proud of. I was part of getting that, and dropped me off at the house. And it's still, I know it's gonna get worse before the night's over, because it's hard. It's hard. You know, I keep telling the people though in the township, I'm not saying goodbye. I'm going to be coming around and raising all kinds of heck, you know, so as a citizen now.
During his retirement party at Bad Brad's, local dignitaries expressed their gratitude to Chief Smith and presented him with tokens of appreciation for his decades of service to the community.
Heck of a fire chief, but I'd put friend before that. And I said this earlier, and I'll say it again tonight, but he was literally the first guy on township staff to really reach out to me when I was campaigning and said, I don't know if you're going to win, but I'll help you, whatever I can do. Not politically, but just, you know, catching me up to speed. And just sincere, he meant it, and he did, and he's been a friend ever since. So we got this little thing we have back and forth. He says, I love you. I say, I love you more. I mean, that's stuff like for your spouse, but that's my thing with Bob.
Well, I've known Bob for probably close to 40 years. Had a great partnership with the Orion Township Fire Department, and it's really been strengthened since Bob became fire chief. I don't know if you know this or not, he actually worked for Oakland County before he came to the fire department. He was part of the old safety division, which was disbanded many, many years ago. So whoever fills his shoes is going to have some tough boots to fill.
He just gets it done. He knows how to get it done. He knows the people. He knows the need of the department, and he was able to put all those things in place. And he really had the support of the board the whole time. We wanted to see his vision, his dreams be fulfilled. We wanted to make sure that we had an excellent fire department in place, and he just worked really well with those that could help get that job done.
Well, the biggest asset he brought to the job was Bob Smith. And he brought his energy, his care, his talent, and his ability. That equated into the improved radio system and communications, the addition of full-time staffing, and he took a very professional, able fire department and improved that into one of the best fire departments anywhere in Michigan.
As the township begins its search for a replacement, training coordinator John Pender was named interim fire chief at the Board of Trustees meeting on July 31st.
First responders work around the clock to keep communities safe. Due to budget restraints, many organizations are unable to upgrade their equipment. Fortunately, Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation is helping communities get the gear needed to get the job done. On the morning of August 2nd, Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation invited the community, including the Orion Township Fire Department and Deerfield Township Fire and Rescue, for a special presentation. A grant provided over $27,000 worth of equipment the departments desperately needed. Deerfield Fire and Rescue received 9 sets of turnout gear, which includes pants and coats to replace the damaged and aging gear. The Orion Township Fire Department was able to replace obsolete machinery with 8 new rescue saws. The new tools were able to cut through steel and concrete, giving the firefighters an easier way to free trapped victims. The saws are also vital for ventilating smoke and hot gases from a burning building.
For me, it's very important because I live in the community, and you know, when you go through life, you're always going to need a public safety. And you never know when. I mean, it could be an accident on the way home. It could be, you know, something happens at home, something happens at work. But everybody's going to need it sometime, and we need to make sure that those guys, those first responders, are as prepared as possible to be able to help you and save lives. And that's what we do. That's part of our connection to the community. Our founders, Chris and Robin Sorensen, were both firefighters. They believe in this strongly, and this came about after they went to Mississippi after Katrina, and they thought they were just going to go there and feed some of the first responders and have some food and help out a little bit, and they didn't realize how bad things were. They stayed 8 days and fed as many people as they possibly could, got as much, you know, food, kept having it trucked in and everything. And when they went back to Florida, they just started thinking, you know, we need to do more, we got to do more, what can we do? And that's how they founded the Public Safety Foundation.
Although the main focus of the foundation is to provide first responders with the proper equipment they need to save lives, they also designate funds to prevention education, scholarships, military member support, and disaster preparedness. If you are interested in contributing to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation, visit firehousesubsfoundation.org for more information.
Orion Township's Community Programs Department hosts events for area families throughout the year. Recently, they hosted an annual event that's a huge hit with young ones and the young at heart. On Friday, August 4th, area families braved an unusually chilly and overcast summer evening to visit Orion Township's annual Big Rig Gig. Now in its 14th year, children were invited to climb on and inside a wide variety of vehicles, ranging from emergency vehicles to a garbage truck. The event costs $5 per carload, a bargain for families looking for a fun activity at Friendship Park.
We do it because, quite frankly, I love it, and I think the kids love it. It's nice to see the entire community come out and have a good time. It's very affordable for all families, $5 a carload, pack it in, and what kind of entertainment can you get for only $5? It's just a blast.
The highlight of the evening was when Life Flight of Michigan passed overhead, then proceeded to land in Friendship Park. Once it came to a stop, families were invited to see the helicopter up close.
This is the EC-135. This is a variant P2 model. Top speed is 140 knots, roughly about 150 miles per hour. Max cruise altitude is 10,000 feet. We primarily do facility-to-facility transfer. Someone looking at a hospital and going to another higher level of care, in essence. So that's predominantly what we do. We also do scene calls, which is your accidents along the highway. We'll land with the help of the local fire department, police departments. We train with them regularly to set up landing zones, as you saw us set up here today. And that's pretty much it.
My favorite part is definitely the helicopter because I really like its color. The helicopter is the best part I've ever had, and I like spending time with my family, and it's been very cool today. I got to pet some dogs, and this is my first time at the Big Rig Gig today.
Next up on Orion Township's calendar of events is the Indoor Community Garage Sale on Friday, September 22nd, followed by the Toy and Comic Expo on Saturday, September 23rd. Both events will be held inside the Orion Center. For more information, visit oriontownship.org or call 248-391-0304, extension 3500.
With the Woodward Dream Cruise right around the corner, classic car shows and cruises have dominated the weekends leading up to the big event. Classic car buffs here in Lake Orion didn't have to travel too far to take part in a couple of local shows. On Saturday, August 5th, almost 200 classic and muscle cars lined the streets of downtown Lake Orion for the annual Kids and Kops Charity Cruise. Sponsored by Golling Buick GMC, it was the third year the event has been held in the village.
It's kind of a back to the bricks kind of car show, and I've noticed that even the people that bring their cars like this setting better. It gives it that small town feel. And even the business owners are having a good time, so it really is, I think, the best show of the year.
Lockhart's Barbecue hosted a pancake breakfast, and although the event was free for participants, many cruisers offered donations to the cause.
Everything that comes in today goes to the Kids and Cops program with the Lake Orion Police Association. We sponsor our youth sports teams, our Shop with a Hero, our youth mentoring program that's going to be firing back up this fall in conjunction with Blanche Sims Schools. And there's a lot of good, and every dollar goes back into the Lake Orion community to help children. We couldn't do this without the community support. We couldn't do it without Golling Buick GMC, who has been our supporter behind us every year. We thank Lockhart's for having our pancake breakfast this year, Rockin' Ronnie and United Street Machines, and all of the owners that come out to show their cars. We couldn't do it without them. So, and we thank God for just a perfect day. So it's going to be a great day all the way around, and we're glad everybody could join us.
At the end of the day, 70 trophies were handed out to participants. And when the final tally was counted, more than $3,500 was raised at the event.
1 week earlier, cruisers gathered on the grounds of Culvers for a special car cruise benefiting the VFW. ONTV's Joe Johnson was there and has the story.
On Saturday, July 29th, almost 200 cruisers filled the parking lot at Culvers on M24 for a car show benefiting North Oakland VFW Post 334. Normally, Culver's owner Joe Zimmer hosts a popular event every Tuesday, but offered up his restaurant on a Saturday for this special occasion.
As you know, we love to give back to the community, and I don't think there's any more people that have sacrificed their lives unselfishly as the veterans, and of course these are the ones that are fortunate enough to still be with us, so we want to pay homage to these guys and gals.
One of our members is a member of the Y Trackers, and they said we do really a good thing here at Culvers, so they talked to the gentleman here, and he accepted our offer to have a cruise here, benefiting the VFW, you know, and help supporting us. So it was a wonderful thing to do, and we're having a great day. Couldn't pick a better day, 80 degrees and sun shining, you know. But it's all for the benefit of the veterans.
I joined the VFW last year, and because I'm kind of a car guy, I just asked the guys at VFW, they ever put on a car show, and they said no. And I said, well, let's see if we can't put something together, and actually started talking about 6 months ago, and today's the day.
Many of the cruisers in attendance were veterans. Money was raised through donations and 50-50 raffles. Almost 30 door prizes were donated by the event sponsors like Auto Value, O'Reilly Auto Parts, and of course Culvers. The money raised helps the VFW with their charitable efforts in the community.
Well, all I can say to these cruisers that came out today, you're a wonderful, great bunch of people, and we sincerely really appreciate all your good cars, beautiful cars, and we thank you for being here. God bless you all.
Culvers will continue to host their weekly car cruise every Tuesday from 4 to 8 p.m. through the second week of October. In Orion Township, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV News.
It is always a fun occasion when the Oxford-Orion area gets to celebrate one of our own who was known worldwide. Former Oxford resident Brace Beamer was the voice of the Lone Ranger radio show back in the 30s when the show was at its height of popularity. In 2013, Oxford turned its annual summer festival into a celebration of Brace Beamer and the Lone Ranger. On Saturday, August 5th, Oxford hosted its 5th annual Lone Ranger Festival. The main streets of downtown Oxford were shut down for the occasion. Many vendors and businesses set up tents, local artists played music, kids were able to take part in a petting zoo, bounce houses, barrel rides, and more, proving this to be a family event for all. The highlight of the event was a parade that marched right down Washington Street through the heart of Oxford.
Well, one of the things we did was when the Johnny Depp movie came out a few years ago is that we tried to incorporate that and change the name of the parade to the Lone Ranger Day Festivals because of the fact that this is the home of radio's Lone Ranger Brace Beamer, and so we wanted to incorporate that, and we get more people coming out here just because I think we changed the name of the parade.
If you missed the parade, our neighbors Oxford Community TV recorded the event in its entirety and will be airing it soon in Oxford and right here on ONTV. Visit OrionONTV.org to view the program guide for more details.
After several high-profile accidents in Michigan, the number of bicyclists involved in fatal accidents with cars spiked in 2016. Recently, a group of riders hoped to draw attention to the cause while memorializing a lost loved one. On the evening of Thursday, July 27th, approximately 20 bicyclists gathered on the grounds of Weber Elementary School for the start of a tribute to a fallen colleague. The Ride of Silence honored the memory of Ralph Finneran on the 6th anniversary of his death. Finneran was riding his bike when he was killed by a distracted driver on Giddings, near the GM Orion assembly plant. A ghost bike marks the location of the accident.
A ghost bike is a monument to the person who was killed at that spot. And what I would like people to think of is, remember that was a husband, a son, a mother, a father, a daughter. It's somebody that somebody loved. You know, say a prayer if you believe, have a thought for that family, and drive mindful. Look at that bike and go, whoa, that could have been me, that could have been my family member.
The Ride of Silence was organized by Holy Spokes, a nonprofit organization that operates out of the lower level of Moose Tree Nature Preserve near Weber Elementary. Friends and family members followed a 7-mile course that took them onto Clarkston, Jocelyn, Walden, and Baldwin roads, ending back at Weber.
The message is to bring awareness to bicycle safety, also to keep everyone safe on our paths, and also to keep the drivers aware that they need to be careful of bicyclists at intersections, at driveways, all of those types of things.
I mean, there's been so many bicyclists killed here in the state of Michigan, and we need to get laws changed so there's more serious consequences. Right now they get misdemeanors and a slap on the hand, so we're working with the League of Michigan Bicyclists to increase that penalty.
The Ride of Silence was first to honor Ralph Finneran, and organizers are hoping to make it an annual event. The League of Michigan Bicyclists is a non-profit organization working to improve conditions for bicycling in Michigan and works with legislators and policymakers to promote safety. Visit lmb.org for more information.
Are you ready for some football? The Lake Orion Dragons varsity football season kicks off on August 24th when they travel to Clinton Township to take on Chippewa Valley. Recently, the Oakland Activities Association hosted a media day attended by coaches and their players. ONTV's Sammy Taramina was there, and he gives us a sneak peek on the upcoming season.
On Friday, August 4th, the Oakland Activities Association hosted its 4th annual media day at the Rochester Community Schools Administration Building. Coaches and players representing 22 of the 23 teams that make up the OAA Conference were on hand to meet with the members of the press to discuss the upcoming high school football season.
This event is just so special because, top to bottom, I think the OAA is the strongest football conference in the entire state. And look around, you got great student athletes, and you just have Hall of Fame coaches everywhere, and we're really proud of the OAA.
The Lake Orion Dragons were represented by first-year head coach John Blackstock, who brought 4 key players with him. Last year, the team went 5-5. I asked him how the Dragons can improve for the 2017-2018 season.
Our league has improved from top to bottom. You used to be able to look at the schedule and kind of pick out a couple of teams, 3-4 teams that you'd say, you know what, those are wins. Of course, you still had to play well, but you knew they were going to be wins. And now you look down that 9-game schedule, and there's not one week that you can say, you know what, that's a win, because the coaching has improved dramatically over the years, and the athletes have improved.
Your schedule is tough this year. You got Chippewa Valley to open up. Explain the schedule.
It's a tough one, but our kids are excited about that. They themselves have said, you know what, we wouldn't want people to say this is one of the easier schedules Lake Orion has had. That's not the kind of kids we have. They're excited about the challenge.
The OAA Red Division is made up of Lake Orion, Oxford, Adams, Southfield Arts and Tech, Athens, Bloomfield Hills, and West Bloomfield. I had a chance to talk to the coaches Lake Orion will be facing this season. What's up with the defense?
We're just not stopping the big play. We're giving up the long. You cannot give up the big play. You cannot do that, and you are right. We have not played good defense in the last 2 years, and we got to pick that up, or we're going to find ourselves behind the 8 ball again. Defense wins championships.
What are your expectations this year, Coach?
Win.
Let's look at it. Of course, you got a new quarterback now. Of course, Zach Solden's your quarterback now. Of course, you had a very good quarterback last season, 4-year starter. Now he's moved on. Now you got a new quarterback. So talk about that.
Well, Zach's worked his butt off. He's played behind Kyle. I think he's ready for the challenge. We also have a really good sophomore named Carter Ferris that's been competing for that job as well. So we're not ordaining anyone a successor to Kyle Wood yet, but both those guys I feel very comfortable with.
You look at it, how is it going from year 1 to year 2?
Year 1 to year 2 is good. We still have our participation numbers up. We have 150 kids in the program right now, not including our freshmen, which will get those numbers more accurate in the next couple of weeks. But we're just looking forward to having all those kids out. They've been working hard all summer, even with how high school football is now with a lot of the kids traveling on bus tours and things like that. We've had a steady flow of kids in practice, working hard, lifting weights, just really getting at it to get prepared for the season.
Blackhawks last year, undefeated season, the blue. You got a lot of experience back, of course. Talk about your team this upcoming year.
I think it starts with the quarterback. We got the quarterback back, and I've always said no matter what type of offense you run, when you got the quarterback back, you bring that leadership back in, the experience of handling the ball the entire game. We got the linebackers back on defense, which gives us leadership and experience there, and I think great senior leadership, which can carry through the whole season.
Big moves this year for the Lakers, of course. You added a lot of transfers, so talk about the transfers.
We've got a lot of kids that have come in. They've worked really hard. They've kind of bought into what we want to do. They've been dedicated, and we just hope that they can help us get to where we want to go, which is kind of take that next step, not first in the league and then hopefully in the playoffs.
I mean, all these guys up here, these are my guys that came back. As you know, we fought in every single game last year, but it was tough. It was a tough year. We were very, very young, but we're bringing everybody back. We got a lot of juniors that are coming back with a lot of speed. So I'm hoping to, those games that we fought hard for about 3.5 quarters, I'm hoping to finish those bad boys in the fourth quarter and take care of business. So.
The Red Division is the kiss of death division this year when you look at it. Of course, you have some very good teams in that division with West Bloomfield, Rochester Adams, Oxford, Clarkston, Southfield Arts and Tech, Lake Orion, and Troy Athens. It's not an easy league at all. And when you look at it from a Dragons perspective, they do have a very tough schedule. They open up the year at Chippewa Valley later in August. In Rochester, I'm Sammy Termina, ONTV News.
Thanks, Sammy. As we said earlier, the Dragons' first game of the season is scheduled for Thursday, August 24th at Chippewa Valley. The Dragons' first home game is scheduled for Thursday, August 31st, as they host Rochester Adams. Kickoff is at 7 p.m.
It's been 10 years since Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows arrived on bookshelves, and almost 7 years since the final movie was released. But new generations of children continue to discover the popular boy wizard. Recently, kids flocked to the Orion Township Library for a special event. ONTV's Drew Dargaville has the story.
On Saturday, July 29th, the Orion Public Library hosted their second annual Harry Potter Day. This event was filled with many family-fun Harry Potter-themed activities, craft making, and food. as well as a game that helped name you to one of the 4 Harry Potter houses. We caught up with the Teen Services Librarian, Kathleen Kozlowski, to learn more about this event.
So we planned Harry Potter Day. This year it's on the 29th, and we usually try to do it around the end of July because that's Harry's birthday, is July 31st. So the morning we have from 10 to noon, we have crafts for kids and teens. So we have wrist owls, we have mini potion bottle necklaces, Harry Potter keychains. So for these big programs like this, we try to find movies, books, things that kind of appeal to all audiences. And so Harry Potter's been around for so long, and I started reading it when I was in elementary school, and now I'm an adult and I still like it. So it really reaches from children to teens to adults. The big purpose of this event is really to have a program that can appeal to all ages and families. So, if you're a mom, dad that have an elementary student or a teenager, you can come and there's something for the entire family.
Reporting from the Orion Public Library for ONTV News, I'm Drew Dargaville.
Thanks, Drew. The Orion Veterans Memorial hosts numerous events throughout the year, including ceremonies on Memorial Day and Patriots Day. But recently, the memorial experienced a first. On Saturday, July 29th, the Orion Veterans Memorial was the setting for a wedding, the first ever to be held on the grounds. The bride was Valerie Romaine Johnson, owner of Holistic Health by Valerie. The groom was Brian Penz, a 6-year veteran of the U.S. Navy who is going to seminary school to become a Navy chaplain. The couple has known each other for 26 years, first meeting in school in Sterling Heights. Both are currently Lake Orion residents. Veterans Memorial Chair Dr. Joe Master Mateo told us he could have never predicted the memorial would be the setting for a wedding.
This is a wonderful occasion for the Township of Orion, the Orion Veterans Memorial, and everybody connected with it. The dozens of volunteers. This is something we never planned on. This is wonderful.
Brian and Valerie, I now get to pronounce you husband and wife. Brian, you may kiss your bride.
Congratulations to the lucky couple. The Orion Veterans Memorial Board invites you to take part in a very special ceremony on Monday, September 11th. The Patriot Day ceremony will feature moving performances and powerful speeches to honor the lives lost on that terrible day in 2001. Visit OrionVeteransMemorial.com for more information.
That's it for this edition of ONTV News. I'm Melissa Kratt.
And I'm Shannon Line. We'll see you next time.